Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. And we're zooming in and focusing in on a very important topic to become aware of. And that is one of the very difficult, emotionally manipulative tool that is very difficult to understand when it comes to a relationship with a malignant narcissist or a psychopath. And that is the role of intermittent reinforcement in the relationship. Intermittent reinforcement is very much like a lottery mentality or a slot machine mentality that the malignant narcissist or psychopath will engage in the Hoover stage, in the devaluation stage, where they will intermittently, meaning randomly, make you feel like it's all good again. You are their number one. You are the best spouse. You are the right spouse. You are the best sibling. You are their favorite. You are their love of the life. You are the best daughter, son, mother, father figure, boss, however you want to understand this person in your life. And they will make it feel like it's all possible again. They will give you that smile that you always love. They will give you that gift that you always love. They will give you the phone call, the text, the pictures, whatever it is that makes you light up. And it is very difficult because that keeps you really feeling in a state of euphoria, hope, and bliss that yes, maybe this will all work out. So in that intermittent reinforcement, very much like a slot machine, makes you try harder and harder and harder to keep the relationship going. You then begin to do whatever it takes at all costs to keep them there, to keep the positive love alive. And you end up oftentimes keeping that codependent life status where you're then over obligating yourself, or really then beginning to engage in what's even worse is lying to yourself, living in denial about the relationship, making you then believe that maybe it will work. Maybe it isn't so bad after all. Maybe I am just making all this up. Maybe I do deserve to be treated this way. Maybe the narcissist or psychopath is right. I am this and this way. I am too sensitive. I need to be insulted. I need to be treated in a derogatory manner. I deserve the to be portrayed as less than. Maybe that's just what this relationship is all about. So you begin to engage in that intermittent reinforcement where, like a lottery, all of a sudden you have that win and you feel like I have a chance and I'm going to stay here even longer. So then, just like if you've ever played a slot machine, you keep trying, and you might even exhaust yourself because you think eventually the machine is going to pay out. Eventually, the relationship is going to give you all that reward that you had discussed in the initial stage, or furthermore, kind of what you are expecting the relationship to resolve to, or the ideal. And so you're holding that over-idealized vision of the narcissist. And it's oftentimes what we call a codependent projection or a positive projection on the relationship. So then you begin to code it over. It is all good. You begin making these absolute statements and really kind of living in denial. Just putting a sort of temporary blanket over it. It's all good. There's nothing wrong. That's all in the past. We've moved on. And again, like the slot machine mentality, you might get ahead a little bit, but furthermore, when you really think about, you're getting really very much emotionally in debt to this person, where you then begin internalizing their negativity, and furthermore, you do never really know where you stand. And so this sort of intermittent behavior, where you feel, where sometimes they're nice, sometimes they're cruel, you really begin to then live in a state of uncertainty, a state of not really knowing where the relationship is headed, this sort of permeable doubt. So if you have experienced this, know that this is really, an unstable place to be. And, even though you might ascribe, sort of positive experiences to that and then to the relationship and really wanting that to be with all your heart and might, realize that when you're dealing with a malignant narcissist or a psychopath, they are living by the presence of a facade, a mask, and that they will, do whatever it takes to kind of keep you there. But then the discard is always coming, where once again they are in control, making you, feel horrible, and you don't want to feel those feelings. So people then oftentimes will, take those temporary good days or good months or good talks with the malignant narcissist and say, okay, maybe I will begin to undertake that sort of that sort of tension, and maybe they are right. Maybe I am not good enough and I should listen, to them. And, so realize that, that they will engage in this, sometimes this, sometimes that, very unstable, intermittent reinforcement. See if you can identify this in the relationship and see if it's causing you to really over obligate yourself and really sort of, just overwhelm yourself emotionally, where really you become emotionally distraught, where you're putting too much emphasis in the relationship when you really should be putting all that energy and attention into yourself. Because oftentimes what ends up happening is people become, so emotionally depleted by all that they have given or wanted with this individual, and they're afraid to see the truth. They're afraid to identify the fact that they have been mistreated and really identify it and label it as such, and then draw the line and say no more. So I encourage you once again to look at the relationship with eyes of sobriety and begin to realize what that randomized reinforcement, and to see if that's really hurting, if it's really hurting you, or what is really helping you. And furthermore, learn to protect and prevent yourself from engaging in that intermittent reinforcement sort of relationship, where eventually it leads to the discard and you're truly not happy at all. It's Peace and Harmony with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.